how's it going, pals? And today's video, I'm going to be sharing to you 6 tips for you to practice every day to make you fluent in English. But before that, what is fluent? According to Cambridge Dictionary, fluent means that you can speak a particular language well, easily, quickly, without many pauses. However, before we jump to the tips number 1, there are 2 particular things that I would like to share to you about learning a language, in this case, English. First one, everyone can learn any language despite their age. It might be true that if you're younger, your brains tend to learn something quicker, but that doesn't mean that people who are older can learn language as brilliant. I remember I once took a Spanish class back when I was in Glasgow, and there were these 2 women who were in their 60s, and they learned the Spanish language very easy for them because they've got the most fundamental thing, which is experience. So the bottom line is that as long as you're consistent, you have your self-motivation, self-discipline to learn a language, in this case English, you'll be able to master it and to be fluent in English. Second one, maybe you've heard this, that people would say that you need to live in an English-speaking country if you want to master English, if you want to be fluent in English. I would say that this is not entirely true. Of course, it's easier for you if you're living, say, in America or in England, in Scotland, to be able for you to learn English quickly because you'd hear everyone says English all the time. You'd be interacting with native English speakers every day. However, I've met so many people, including my mates, that never set foot in an English-speaking country, but their English is brilliant, their English is impeccable. They even got the accent. One of my pals got a perfect British accent. My point is that you can learn English, you can be fluent in English from anywhere in the world. You don't have to really live in Scotland. You don't have to live in America. You can do it at your home. You can do it here in Jakarta, in Indonesia. As long as that you've got everything that you'll be needed to learn language. And these days especially, there are so many accessible ways for you to learn English remotely. Online resources, for example, by learning English from my YouTube channel. It will help you a lot. Alright, then let's move on to tips number 1. Number 1, read, listen to podcasts, and watch TV shows or films. Reading is actually very helpful for you to improve your vocabulary and to learn how complex sentences are structured. And make sure it's a bit difficult for you so you learn something new. It's a bit challenging for you, but make sure that it's not too difficult so it won't demotivate you along the way. And also, be sure that when you find new words that you had no idea what those words mean before, make sure that you're gonna be looking them up in Google so you will find the true meaning of those words and how those words are used in a sentence. Well, also for podcasts, I'd suggest you to listen to podcasts that covers topics which you are interested in. For instance, if you have a passion in fitness industry, try to listen to podcasts that bring topics about fitness, about work at home, or if you're into investment and finance, try to listen to podcasts that gives tips on investing your funds, because that will help you learn 2 things at once. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Also, if you want to watch films or TV shows, there are plenty of good films or shows that are available, for example, in Netflix. And I'd say try to watch them without subtitles. Or, if you must, try to use English subtitle only. This will help you to improve your listening skills and will help you to improve your vocabulary, and you would know how to use them in daily conversations. Tips number 2, try to imitate. This actually could be useful for improving your accent too. So it's not just to make you fluent in English, but will help you to learn the accent as well. This is quite underrated. However, this is very powerful to help you become fluent. For example, if you hear an native English speaker or someone else that holding a door for you, and you'd hear they would say words along the way like on you go, and you've never heard those words before or you barely use them, try to imitate that and try to remember in your head and use that quite frequently. For example, alright, if I'm gonna be holding a door for someone, I'm gonna say on you go, on you go, on you go, like to allow them to pass you. This is also related to tips number 1 that I mentioned to you earlier. When you try to get phrases from TV shows or films and try to imitate them in your daily conversations. For example, if you want to watch a show that helps you to learn not only English but also English with accents such as Brummy accent or Cockney accents, Londoners accent, or even Irish and Glaswegian accent, try to watch Peaky Blinders. I recommend this show a lot. Right, so if you watch the scene like this.
Right, hello. How can I help you?
So right, that character, the lad, the bloke, the guy, is called Alfie Salomon, and he says along the lines of, "Hello, how can I help you?" See, you could notice that he is speaking with Cockney accent, a London accent. He dropped the H sound, so he doesn't say, "Hello, how can I help you?" but instead he says, "Hello, how can I help you?"
Right, hello. How can I help you?
See, that is one of the characteristics of Cockney accent. So if you try to imitate those phrases, how can I help you, with the intonation. So for example, if someone asks a small favor for you, asks for your help, you could simply respond to them by saying, "How can I help you?" That will help you to get used, that will help your brains to memorize those phrases. So next time, if you get used to that, next time probably you would say those words like automatically, like you don't have to memorize that anymore because you've practiced them quite a lot of time. Tips number 3, do not translate. I found out that so many people are having tough time in learning English because they keep on translating words and sentences on their heads every time they want to speak a certain sentences or certain phrase in English. This will make you overthink and you'd end up having so many pauses. And also, there's a quite different structure of sentences both in English and in Bahasa Indonesia or in any other language, probably your mother tongue. So instead of trying to translate those words, just try to let it flow. Try to describe some things in a very simple way. For example, if you want to have your iPhone repaired, say you wanted to repair with 2 little buttons and you do not know what's the name of these buttons, you could describe them by saying, for example, "Excuse me, I wanted to repair these 2 tiny buttons on my iPhone that will help me to increase or decrease volume." See, as simple as that. The point is, if you do not know a certain word, just don't try to translate them. Instead, try to describe what's the meaning of those words. Number 4, do not think too much about the grammar. Of course, grammar is important. However, in terms of speaking, most likely the other person whom you're talking to, they don't really care about your grammar at all. Especially native English speakers. Because first, they would understand that English is not your first language, it's not your mother tongue. And secondly, they would appreciate you for trying. Well, you could work your grammar later on along the way. Just don't think too much about grammar when you try to talk. As long as the other person understands perfectly what you're trying to say and they could respond to what you say to them. Do this all the time and you'd see a progress along the ways of you try to be fluent in English. So my point is that you don't have to be perfect at the first try. You don't have to be able to fluent master in English in one try. Number 5, try to think that the other person only knows English. This is my favorite tip because I experienced this myself as well back in 2012 when my English was not as fluent as now. Every time I tried to speak in English, I always put this in my mind that the other person, they did not understand any single word but in English. This forced me to do my best to speak more confidently, to do it all out, you know what I mean? Same thing was when I was in Glasgow, when I tried to learn the Scottish accent, I was put this in my mind that my pals, they wouldn't understand a single word if I did not speak them in Scottish accent, which was not true because they understand English perfectly. However, this is just to put a big challenge to myself, just for me to do it all the best, just for me to stop thinking too much, stop overthinking, stop worrying about grammar, stop worrying about being someone who is wrong in English. Just do it all the way. It will help you to be better in English, to be fluent in English along the way. Last tip, practice. So all those 5 tips would not make a great impact for you if you don't practice as much. Make learning English as your passion, as your hobby, as something that you would do every day. Find friends whom you can talk English to. They don't have to be native English speakers. At least they're good in English. So you'll be more motivated. Trust me, if you speak English every day, either to your friends or to yourself, if you can't find a friend who wants to speak English to you, it doesn't matter. So you say you do this every day with those tips that I've told you before. Let's say in a month, or probably less than a month, say like 20 days, you'll feel that you're becoming more fluent, way more fluent than before. Right, pals? So those are 6 tips that will help you to be fluent in English. Make sure that you practice them every single day, unless it's not gonna get you anywhere. Right, before I close this video, make sure that you hit the like button and give a comment if you need me to cover certain topics, or if you do have another tips that will help the others to be fluent in English. And also don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you in the next video then. Bye.